My name is Wolf, and today we are back with Our Life Beginning and Always with Derek's epilogue. And just as he thought, Mr. Holland had arrived. He stood in the doorway with a pie-sized grocery fruit door platter in hand. If he had more time to arrange an order, he was certain it would have been a fruit bouquet instead.
Good evening.
Welcome. Please come in. Don't mind if I do. This is for you. Mr. Holland placed the plate of fruit. Mr. Holland placed the plate of delicately placed. Oh my God. Mr. Holland placed the plate of delicately arranged fruit slices into his friend's hand as he passed through. And everyone else. I figured I should contribute something. How kind. The two strolled further into the space. Mr. Holland stopped in front of the group. Mr. Suarez continued into the kitchen to set down the food in its proper place. You ran to the friend and flung yourself against him. Split off from the rest of the group, you raced towards your former neighbor and threw your arms around him. He laughed and held you back delightedly. Happy Father's Day to my father. He choked on his own tongue while his expression became taut. The way his eyes shook in his skull gave away how rapid his mind had begun to race. You had spoken the truth. Mr. Holden was a dad to you. You'd grown up with him watching over you, caring for you, and being someone you could trust. He cared about what would happen to you. But despite all these years, you celebrated Father's Day with him, and you hadn't called him your dad directly, out loud, right to his face before. It was too hard to take that step when you were younger. And then you moved. You finally had the chance to say it in person, and you weren't missing it. He blinked rapidly, trying to clear his head, and the glossiness in his eyes, it mattered to him the way it did to you. Thanks, Callie. I'm a real happy father, and to have one lucky boot to have a kid like you. Your heart swelled at his unconditional acceptance. There wasn't a need to think of him as a dad-like figure in your opinion anymore. You could view him as you truly believed. Just your dad. The significance in exchange wasn't lost on those around you. No one had interrupted or probed you with questions. They waited for you and him were ready to leave that moment and step forward. Mr. Holden. Yeah, we still call him Mr. Holden. Instead of Dad. Damn it. Mr. Holden's grip naturally shifted to a partial hold around your shoulders, keeping you close while still freeing him up to greet the others. He then cast his gaze to the Suarez family, and addressed them good-naturedly. Hey everyone, we made it. Thanks again for the invite. Of course. It's good to see you, Cliff. Now it's a party. The two men shook hands firmly, a friendly greeting between two long-term business parents. Clara raised an eyebrow in confusion. We? Me and the phone. And by that I mean me and my son who's gonna call. It should be any minute now. Any minute. Poe would be calling any minute. It felt like an eternity since you last heard his voice. True. There was a few people you spent more time with in your life than Cove Holden. Yet there could never be too much of it. The sooner that phone rang, the better.
Do you mind?
Would you mind if I put it on speaker? He can join the celebration. That would be wonderful. Fantastic. How have all you kids, or rather, mature grown-ups been? Arguably, the most mature of the grown-ups, reference spoke up with his arms crossed casually. It's been good. Thank you for asking, sir. That was a blast from the past. It must have been several years since Derek last called Mr. Holden sir. He let out a snort, and Sir Holden gave a lopsided grin. Can't expect that tile either. Honestly, you look more like a sir than I do at this point. What? Derek was speechless. Half a word was the most articulated response he could muster. It went over much easier with the rest of the family.
That's true.
That's true. Cliff is not a sir, Derek. Perhaps is. Exactly. Mr. Holden gave you one more affectionate squeeze before letting his hand drop back to his side. It was then that there were one final arrival of sorts. It came in the form of a gentle strumming of a guitar, a customized ringtone. Ah, that's Carve. I'm surprised it's not like some kind of ocean animal for Carve, considering they both love the ocean. It feels like it makes more sense to me. Oh well. The soothing music was a contrast greatly by the absolute panic it stirred up in Mr. Holden. He fished out his phone from his pocket, nearly dropping it in the process, and hit the answer button. It was moments like that where you could see how clearly the man in front of you fathered his son.
Hey!
Hey, Spot! Yeah, yep, I'm with the Suarez family. It's their place. Hold up, I'm gonna put you on speaker. Mr. Holden took the phone off his ear and tapped the screen once again. There was a moment of silence. Then, a soft, tepid, disembodied voice came from the device from miles away. It was one you could recognize anywhere. Hi? Hi, we can hear you. Hello, Carve Holden. Hi, Go. The entire Suarez family spoke up in good cheer to welcome their guest and their friend. Oh, great. Hey. A fuzzy breath came through on that reply. He was relieved at the warm reception. Ko couldn't help being a little awkward, joining the party, even when he was not physically present in the room. I missed you, Carve Holden! All the traces of nerves and hesitation in Carve fizzled into nothing under the powerful rays of his own self-created sunshine. Hey, Callie! Thanks for keeping my dad company. They're a great kid. Yeah, I think so too. His words were soft and pure as afternoon clouds. Aw, thanks, you guys. So, happy Father's Day to the both of you. Thanks. It is a happy Father's Day. It only took a minute, but Mr. Holden eventually remembered you don't need to have the phone. It took a minute, but Mr. Holden eventually remembered that you don't have to hold the phone when it's on speaker. He placed it down on the counter for safe keeping, and to give others more room to crowd around. With a click up of her hands, Miss Suarez called the group to attention. Her eyes were squinted from her smile-raised cheeks.
So?
Before it gets any later, how about we give Dad his gifts? Mr. Suarez had distracted himself with the fruit platter Mr. Holden provided, but the promise of presents drew him back into the main back out into the main space of the room.
Yes.
Yes, I'll lay my gifts now. Let's do it. I'll be right back. I hid my gift in Nico's room.
Yeah.
Oh, sure, we can wait. But not long. That was tacked onto Derek's statement of good humility, though not as entirely as a joke.
Don't worry.
I got it. Hari flippantly gestured a hand over his shoulder, dismissing his dad's impatience, but the speed he walked at was brisker than a normal indoor pace. Derek's hand automatically came to rest over his pocket. He had the box and card safely tucked inside. That sight spurred you into double-checking your own stuff. All was ready to go. All was well and ready to go. Why, Jorge tried to stick the gift inside someone else's bedroom became all too obvious when he re-entered the hall. 2 free-form bouquets of beautiful flowers was spilling over the hands stretched around them. Ooh! It was Van Joyce. It was Van Joyce as a thrilled smile bloomed on one of the recipient's faces. The middle Suarez's son twisted his arms closer to himself. A few petals brushed against his cheek. Sorry, I couldn't get them into a bag, sir. Here it is. There's enough for Dad and Mr. Holden.
Are
What?
you sure?
Me too? Yeah, you too. Mr. Holden was truly flabbergasted. There was no deep personal connection between him and Clary. He was Mr. Suarez's friend, and merely an acquaintance of Junior's. But the gift to share was far more consideration than Mr. Holden could have foreseen. He obviously didn't know Clary. His problem-solving and thoughtfulness didn't surprise you at all. That is beautiful, and very kind. Thank you, Junior.
Nice work.
Smart thinking. As Derek chuckled, Clary shook his head. I got lucky. You can go. Okay, first, Mr. Holden, this is for you. It was the card you'd seen him get that morning. Derek passed it over to the man it was always meant for. Wow, another gift. Now that's a thoughtful
It's
family.
nice.
You guys are nice to think of my dad. Derek ran his freshly freed hand through his short hair. He had a lovely smirk on his face. It's no problem, bro. I always got lucky. And this is for you, Dad. Derek brought out the sweet package and held it out for the taking. Mr. Suarez plucked it up gladly. He had the bouquet under one elbow, while pulling off the top of his new present. A tie! I'll use this often. Thank you, Derek.
You're welcome.
You're welcome, Dad. Mrs. Suarez rubbed Derek's back, watching her husband admire the accessory. I'll look great on the new shirt I got him. He winked knowingly and headed off the questions that the statement might bring. I let him open that one earlier, so he didn't have to wait all day before presents happened. No wonder he had been so well behaved. He had preemptively mollified. Mr. Suarez whistled innocently and shuffled the tie around the box.
Thank you.
Thank you again, my lovely wife. He was fully basking in the revelry. Meanwhile, his supportive partner took the initiative to bring out a couple of vases for Clary's flowers. They looked even better spread between the glasses. Okay, I'll join the gift exchange now. I brought something for Mr. Suarez and Mr. Holden. Hooray!
Aw.
Aw. No, I don't want to. Ellen.
Aw.
Aw, Callie. You didn't have to do that. I wanted to. Exactly. Do not reject such generosity, Cliff. Right. You're right. I'm glad you did. Chuckling at the childlike joy of one father, the schoolboy shyness of the other, he lifted the gift bags from earlier that day. The one for Mr. Suarez went over towards him, and the same for Mr. Holden. They both accepted the proper present from your hands. After sharing excited glances with each other, the dads of the day opened the gifts at the same time. He kept it safe and simple, and it went well. Mr. Suarez held on a smile on his face as he realized what it was. This will be very useful. He'd gone for a standard, straightforward Father's Day present. It was nicely received. Nice! This can join my collection. Thanks very much. There was one other person in the room who responded with encouragement. Derek snuck the two of you thumbs up when no one was looking. Oh. Derek snuck you 2 thumbs up when no one was looking at him. One for each of the gifts. You're welcome. As usual, the last person to take stage was Nicholas, with the wide sweeping of his arms.
My gift is my wonderful presents.
My gift is my wonderful presents.
Of course.
And it is wonderful indeed. It was no joke. Mr. Suarez looked upon Nico warmly. The temptation to the baby of the family. The temptation to baby the baby of the family was too strong. From the sidelines, the 3 other members of the family exchanged shrugs and wry smiles. Hey, it's better than me. I'm not really present. It's more than enough, bud. His father's absolute assurance brought tenderness to Co's voice.
Thanks.
Thanks, Dad. The Suarez family did dirt on Ninko, but all of them combined didn't beat spoiling Cove Holden as the light of Mr. Holden's life. After the highest point of the excitement was gift giving, the casual get-together wound down even more. You and the trio of brothers were flanked around Mr. Holland's phone like a team huddle. Each person leaned against the counter, resting their arms, but turns were taken on whose face was stretched out to the center of the circle, and closest to the phone. The actual conversation mostly consisted of the interpretation from you, Derek, and Cove. The two younger brothers were focused on listening and trying to catch new bits and pieces about the person on the other end's line. It was a friend of Derek's who they rarely had direct interactions with. In their minds, the green-haired man named Cove was an enigma. Reminiscing with your pals in front of an audience was interesting experience, but you counted for the children in the room. The parents were busy with their own activities. Mrs. Suarez reclaimed her comfortable spot on the couch. There was a book in her hands. Her second gift of the day was not behaving like her children, and giving Mr. Suarez space to talk to his friend without scrutinization. The pair of fathers sat together at the dinner table. It was close enough to your group that occasionally a word or phrase, purely bellowed in the background, penetrated the line and pushed into your awareness. Mr. Suarez and Mr. Holden were shooting the breeze about love and life, and were, as far as you could tell from the vague, half-considered idea you had about it. But your ears perked when a name was clearly and intentionally called. Derek. Derek's head lifted over the crowd, pushing it upwards with his hands against the tabletop. He made the same motion, finding the interruption as attention-getting as your own name would have been. A grinning Mr. Suarez was the sight that greeted you. He was scheming something that was much obvious. Derek hummed. The gears were working in his head on why he was being summoned, and just him. No answer looks to come to his eyes. Realizing that he was keeping an expected father waiting, he dropped back down to almost level with the phone. I've got to go for a second, Cove. Go to the bros. Tell them about Nevada. They've never been. Okay. Nevada. Derek slipped away from his siblings. The two waved him off without looking away from the screen. He took wide strides to answer the invitation. He remained slouched on He remained slouched against the edge of the counter. Your back turned to the table, but your focus on the outside stimulation had flipped. The words bubbling at the table that you were conscious of. The conversation happened at the table that you were conscious of. The words bubbling from the phone had faded into the backdrop.
What's up?
What's up? We have another lunch event tomorrow. Right, I remember something like that was happening soon. It's not your party, you're showing up. It's not your party, you're invited to just show up. How good you know so much already. You see, Mr. Holland does not prefer to attend such networking gatherings.
Mm-hmm.
It's true. Mr. Holden's voice rang out, completely unapologetic. Like, if you were watching, you bet he was shrugging his arms exaggeratively. It's only worse parties than those are funerals. This is why I need my very professional business partner, Gregorio. Both of the Suarez's chuckled at Mr. Holland's frankness. Hearing just the sound of that made you realize how similar Derek's laugh was to his dad's. It was so much deeper than it used to be. Yes. Usually it's a given that I would be the one to attend, although there are now another option. I could have my responsible son attend as our representative. You didn't have to peek over your shoulder to see the amazed expression on Derek's face. You could picture it perfectly. And that's an idea. I'm on board. It certainly felt like Derek's birthday rather than Father's Day. You could still remember when Derek helping his father with his business as an equal was just far off imagination, a fanciful thought for some day, and now you were presented when it became a reality. It just sent Derek into the clouds temporarily. But it wasn't a dream or a joke. It was an actual situation he was present in. Derek gathered his thoughts and gave a grounded response. Sorry, I can't. I have got plans tomorrow. That's understandable. Derek Suarez is in demand by all who know him.
Oh.
Not by everyone. Derek snickered shyly, and it seemed an exchange was already reaching its conclusion. You knew what was superseding the plan of Derek's was going to the water park with you. He had passed on helping his dad to hang out with you. It made you happy. The time you were going to spend together was important to him, and he respected you enough to not drop the ball when something else came along. With complete confidence, Derek jumped back into the conversation he had momentarily left behind for you. So, as I was saying, thanks for understanding. I'll make it up to you next time.
That is all right.
It is, oh, well, you're already so successful and talented. I need to work hard to keep up. After years of hard work, Derek had earned so much praise from his dad. And yet he didn't accept it with beaming pride or even downplay it with lighthearted humbleness. He simply rejected it. Hardly. Something had changed. He wasn't a small teenager who could only guess what it meant to be an adult and believe what he was told. Derek had grown up. He lived experiences with that words could compare to. What he felt he had done had not matched what his father was describing. But you wondered why. There wasn't anyone you thought of more deserving of the terms talented and successful. No good reason came to mind. Despite Derek never looking more mature, Mr. Suarez smiled comfortably, like he did when he was telling his son was still young. It wasn't a gesture lost from Derek. He once again showed that he was not a child. It was Father's Day. Not the moment to worry his dad. He winked and smirked and managed to smooth over the minor bump. You're still way ahead of me. And that was that. Later in the evening, a hearty homemade dinner was served as the final event of the occasion. The fruit pie had a place on the table as a side dish. It was thoroughly enjoyed. But eventually, Hari stood up from his chair and explained he needed to stand back to his dorm. Mr. Allen agreed. He had an even longer trip ahead of him. He collected his phone, patiently allowed Cove to give a long, drawn-out goodbye before the device was finally put away. It only made sense for you and Derek to take your own leave too. The permanent occupants of the house, Nicholas, Mrs. Suarez, and Mrs. Suarez, thanked everyone for coming.
Self-voicing disabled.
When last Father's Day's well wishes were given, farewells were exchanged, and then it was time for you to go your separate ways. Derek pointedly pushed ahead and opened the door for Clary, Mr. Holland, and you. He didn't move a muscle until you were past. He won that round. His parents and younger brother stood by in the living room the entire time. Derek called over his shoulder with the last note of the day's gathering.
Talk to you later.
And yet he forgot to switch. Have a hell of a day, everyone. Thanks for letting us be here. He then followed you and shut the door behind him. As soon as you both climbed into the comfortable seats of Derek's car, he was ready for a new adventure. What's the plan now? We've got the day left to ourselves. I'm not sure. You intended to really consider the question. Not a single thought had a chance to fully form before Derek disconnected the mental threads with a flying shout. Oh shoot! What's wrong? His head knocked against the back seat and he stood low in defeat.
This sucks.
I didn't get the console from Nico. That's what we could have done, obviously. We were set up and everything. Almost everything. Derek offered an apologetic grin. That's fine. I know what was going on. We tried. A profit? Yep. I'll take it. He screwed himself up and off the chair, choosing to lean over the steering wheel instead.